what? I'm so excited to get to the world renowned Mr. Clark over here. And you know what? I selected him just for you. Why? Because he's going to give you some golden nuggets, but also he has these isms. And I can't wait for him to tell us what these isms are and maybe give a couple. He's got a podcast. But you know what? I love him and I want you to meet him also. So let's go to him right now. And here we go. He's coming up. There he is. Hey, Jamie. Great
Angel Marie. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you are so welcome. And I would love right now, I know how much I love you. I've known you for almost 20 years. Please tell the viewers who you are in like a brief 30 seconds to a minute.
You got it. Jamie Clark, and I'm a psychic medium, which, as I always say, everybody's a psychic medium. If you've got a soul, you got the ability. And the ability to become more comfortable, to empower and enrich our lives with the natural abilities that we all have. And I always say playfully, but genuinely, these are so natural, they're supernatural. That's the point. And if I may, just real quick, because that's a brilliant aspect to this, I'm into all the scientific studies and stuff. And I'm also into a gentleman whose name is Dr. Masaru Emoto, who wrote a book called Hidden Messages in Water and some others. And he was a scientist, as you know, wanted to see if the molecular structure of water holds thought patterns thought within it. And each and every time he did this, he got the same results. And it's beautiful because I share the fact that they show pictures of what it can do to you in a reality check. I know I say playfully, but I think there's at least a couple of things that might be almost 70% water on this planet. That'd be the oceans and the human body. The brain is almost 80%. So the great thing is for me, I have it on an autopilot so that anything I ingest is automatically assimilated to my energy vibration. So it's harmonized and realized. That way I don't have to, for me, because I'm lazy, I don't have to work so hard. I just put it on autopilot because the universe and our body, as you know, doesn't register whether it's happening or not. If you're thinking those thoughts, it's going to register those vibrational patterns. And a lot of times we'll talk to ourselves and not always in the most productive way. You know, we're always growth-seeking beings. We're always going to attain things and have more to go. Half the fun is the journey getting there. Most of us are like, yeah, she's friggin' great. It's like, yeah, okay. Do the best we can to live, not just exist and survive. And when people can give themselves permission to go, you know what? Okay, I'm going to give myself permission to do the best I can with where I'm at and what I'm aware of, and I'm going to keep going. Because sometimes it can be challenging and sometimes you can feel alone, like, you know, is anyone else experiencing this? And the great thing is, as you know, you never know what a person's life experience has been as they sit before you. I will always show love and compassion. One, because I have it for me too. Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm no longer a hypocrite. I'll always be of service to others, and I keep myself included. And when people can see, oh, it's okay to do this, and those psychic abilities are what everyone has. And I love that because when they can open up, relax, and work with their abilities and then thrive in their lives to come alive, it's a whole different vibe. And I love it because each person heals themselves. We're just the facilitators. You are the magic of self-realization.
Beautiful. The magic of intuition, the magic, because it really is magic. And they thrive. I love that. And thank you, because his work is what started me over 20 years ago with the water. So I'm glad that you brought that up. And people don't realize they really need to drink a lot more water, right?
Especially in Arizona.
I know. Wow, especially in Arizona, right? I mean, wow. But you know what? If you want to reach out to him, here's his email. I'm going to leave that up for a little bit so that you can reach out if you want. But we're going to go to our first question for you, Jamie.
Yes, ma'am.
And that is, in your 10 ways to develop intuition, you say feelings are the language of the soul.
Yes.
How can we pay attention to our feelings and intuition when the world around us is so overwhelming and busy?
And that becomes the challenge. And most people, again, I'm just aware of what I'm aware of, but most people tend to associate feelings with emotions. And I share the fact that to me, they're different. Emotions to me are happy and sad. Feelings are an acknowledgement of a particular emotion, circumstance, potential dynamic. Because on average, as I share, most people will say this: I feel happy or I feel angry. Then I'll go, I happy, happy. It's an acknowledgement of a particular emotion. And when we can realize that, one, everyone has emotions more than likely. Two, when we can learn to bring these natural abilities up to the surface of consciousness, become more aware and integrated within our lives, we begin to live life more than just exist and survive. And in those connections, to allow those feelings to speak volumes. Because for me, I always say feelings are the language of the soul, and they are vibrational patterns on the soul knobs. Words are the language of the mind and vibrational patterns on the ear knobs. So I always say, with people on any other language, what does that mean? Same thing, different vibrational patterns on the ear knobs. So it becomes the old adage, a rose by any other name is still a rose. And when they can get more effective at becoming comfortable to realize that, okay, sometimes I don't know how I know it. I just know it, kind of like you were sharing. And that is that claircognizance. I don't know it, but it's just there, man. And like I do, when it plays out, then there's something that we can listen to. Because my thing is, I could receive all I want, but what's the outcome? I want to be practical. And the more accurate we are, the more responsibility goes with it because we are dealing with people's souls and I want people to live. I want them to empower themselves because in this, not everyone can just open up and go, okay. It's like, some people are very private, which is fine. It's whatever works for you. But in your own way, beginning to find yourself within life and finding that life within you and then bringing it to the surface of consciousness and live. That's when people are ready to start opening up to new ideas, to new opportunities, to new directions because getting a whole different way of seeing things can really give you a whole different perspective. And when you can share it, effectively, then they can sometimes go like, I've heard that stuff 1,000 times, but click, that's the first time I kind of see it that way. And I'm like, good, and question everything and let me know how it goes. And they usually come back going, I did it. And I'm like, freaking A, congratulations. And what else do you want to do? Because if the approach ain't broke, don't fix it. And they're like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
want
that's
more?
wonderful. I mean, wow, that's a writer downer, viewers, because all of what he just said, I just love how he put those all together. And to add to with this busy world that we have going on, how do you have a real easy tip or trick or I like to call them methods because that's what I do, and it's how to pay attention to your feelings, to your intuition.
Well, and not only that, the ability to give ourselves comfort wherever we are the best that we can. Because for many years, I would associate, hey, you know what? If I go to the beach, I feel this way and it gives me such a great feeling. Or I go to the forest and it gives me that. For me, I now entrain myself exactly how it feels to be in that location so that I can recall it at any time. That way I don't have to drive, 8 hours or fly an hour or so over to the beach. It's right here. No matter where you go, there you are. And when we can learn our own ways of connecting first with ourselves, then we can connect with life with a little bit less fear and trepidation. And when people can know it's okay to be me, I'm like, that's freaking brilliant. That's the way you should do. Stand out in life by doing you and the passion, whatever it is that you have passion for, that is what speaks to people. They will feel that connection. I always say, this is not only what I do, it's who I am. I don't know how to be anything different. And the good thing is the very person that I've been, I was very honored to grow up and be able to work with my abilities in a natural way. Not everyone is fortunate enough to have that. And it's from many different beautiful religions that they're kind of feeling stifled. And it's understandable, but people are growing into their own spiritual awareness to realize, okay, maybe it is all one. Maybe it is truly all about the love and the empowerment and the oneness. And when we can just give ourselves the opportunity to open up, and if something feels right, those feelings, language of the soul, it will be worth 1,000 words and then some. It is a much more effective communicator. And in this, if I may share real quick, when I do mediumship, I have clients around the world. And a lot of times their loved ones who are on the other side who come through do not speak any English. And they'll begin speaking whatever beautiful language it is. And I'm like, that is a beautiful language. However, I do not understand the vibrational patterns on my ear knobs. Please make me feel the information. Literally, it now becomes the translator, universal translator. Anything and everything coming out that person's mouth is in English. I was like, that's freaking brilliant. I didn't know until I started putting these to the test. Once you can have the guts to do this, because it takes a lot of guts to open up to this spiritual stuff, because not everyone's comfortable. And when they can realize it doesn't have to change everything and people don't have to look at you as one of them. I'm like, well, one, I am kind of like that. So aren't we all? But two, I love doing a lot of the scientific studies that I do with Gary and Rhonda Schwartz and many others at the University of Tucson. Well, it's in Tucson, but it's the University of Arizona, U of A. And we're getting the practicality of spirituality. We can systematize, categorize, repeat. Maybe there's something to that. But also, I share the fact that the scientific methodologies are starting to validate a lot of the ancient esoteric energies, like we're eternal in other universes. And I share the fact, exactly like you were saying, Angel Marie, is everything's energy. And we, as vibrational light frequencies, we are energy. And I say, if we're energy, and in quantum physics, it can neither be created nor destroyed, only transformed, and we're eternal. And then I say, but wait a minute. If that means in a very scientific, practical way that we are eternal and we have always been, and yet they perceive this universe has only been here 14.8 billion years, we may not be from this universe. I'll guarantee you we're not originally from this universe. And then it moves from, to, okay, maybe there could be something to that. That's why I always say, please, in every way, be skeptical, question everything. Let's be practical with this spiritual aspect. Because if we can fit it into our lives more productively, it's a little bit easier to live and thrive. Otherwise, you start feeling like a nut job and an outsider, like, yay! And then people won't open up. And the good thing is one, it takes one to know one. I've been through so many life experiences. It's not like everything's perfect for me and I'm trying to help. It's like, man, I've been through my stuff too. And guess what? Here's my outcome. And if I've got a decent outcome and I'm living what I'm saying, maybe there's something to what I'm saying. My thing is put everything to the test. You get a firsthand experience. Now it's solid. Secondhand's lovely. Firsthand is, I have no choice but to accept the fact I don't understand it. I just experienced it. Yep. It will shift your consciousness. And that rippling effect, right, it can help everyone else around you. But who we help first is ourselves. Then we can share more positive, loving energy, more harmonized, more accepted.
Oh, that's just beautiful. I just love all of that. And I'm going to give everyone, viewers, the website again, because you really want to check out him. He's got a podcast going on also. And, he said a lot of stuff, and I want to just reiterate or echo this. It's important to use discernment. It is important to use discernment. It is important to step into who you are. And you may or may not know how to do that. And that's why we're here. And that's why I'm here on this show every week, is to help you to really show up in that unique way. Going back, Jamie, I really love if you could give another, because you're giving great golden nuggets. That's why I have that up there. But some sort of like a fun process of developing one little thing that helps them every day in that daily routine to develop the intuition.
Yes. And that's a beautiful dynamic. And one of the techniques that I do is I sit down and I go back to a younger me. I've gone back to a younger me and shared what I'm aware of as an adult, as we perceive it, as the future me. And it's interesting because when I was younger, we didn't have a lot of abundance, and people would treat me like, oh, okay, whatever. And I used to think to myself, you have no idea who I might be. I'm like, I didn't know who the frick I was. But now all these years later going, oh, I was already going back to a younger me with the empowerment and self-realization of all the things that I'm doing now that I didn't realize because I hadn't physically done it yet. Metaphysically, it's all happening now. It's the unification of consciousness. And for me, when I was able to understand that more effectively, I'm like, well, what else do I want to do to get ahead of the game? Why not go back to a younger me, give the heads up, and if it's good, keep going. If not, change the direction. And then it's more empowerment, self-realization, and it truly is, as we say, all about the love. Love allows everything to be. It's amazing.
It really is. And I just want to echo, because viewers, what he's talking about is going back to a younger and talking with your younger self, because space, time is all happening at the same time, past, present, and future. is all happy. So that's what he's talking about, is how do you create something different in your life? Intuitively. And that is exactly what he's talking. So that was a great one. And it's another great writer downer for sure.
And the great thing is when we can have fun and we can share just different perspectives, not always better or worse, but different. And sometimes from that different vantage point, we can go, I've heard that crap 1,000 times, but click. That's the first time I kind of see it that way. And when they can question things, be practical, and get the bennies, get the benefits of using their natural intuitive abilities, because I share the fact that pretty much most everyone has had at some time a gut feeling or a mindscape picture that happened that they didn't understand when they were feeling it, and then they had an outplay. My thing is I always love to be practical with energy reading because it is all about energy. And if I get a certain piece of information, okay, what's the outcome? Because otherwise I could receive all I want, but whatever, if we're not getting an outcome. The ability to give direction the best that we can to help others, to help themselves. Because to me, nobody needs to be fixed. Nobody needs to be saved. Just showing that power within, become more self-realized to begin to live life more than survive it.
Absolutely.
Cheers to
Cheers.
all of us. Love, health, and happiness.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And being able to put those energies on autopilot, because for me, and I think you bring up a very interesting point with that linear time, because for me, I playfully go, really, daylight savings time, really is it? And then, on the planet, because I have many clients around, but in Australia, they're basically, as they perceive it, about 17 hours ahead of us. And then Hawaii and Islands, a couple hours behind, yet it's all existing now. So I just kind of, point out the fact to go, there is no time. It is not linear. It is all happening now in one shot. The ability to be able to tune into those channels, those frequencies that are always playing. Just because you're not tuning in doesn't mean it's not playing. It's always playing. But the ability to receive that insight, that guidance in a way that we can help ourselves to help others. And when people can see that it's no longer narcissism, but self-realization, for you cannot give what you do not have. Okay, perfect. Let's go. Let's do this. And I love it because people are waking up to their life and their abilities. And when they can start to live, not just exist, it's empowering, not disempowering.
And it really does affect, right? The whole world is a vibrational field. And that goes right into my next question. Is that the question is, what advice do you have for the viewers to know and to own their own thoughts, their own intuition? And what are communications from the guides and then the loved ones? So the difference, now that's a whole probably,
Oh,
I
we
know,
can get into that. Oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, yes.
yes.
But what most people, I'm just the oddball. What a lot of people don't necessarily think about is we as humans have our guides. Do you really think that your guides don't have their team of guides as well? I'm sure they don't. And it's really cool when we can open up to realize everything is spiritual. And that's why I say with the mediumship, I never, ever talk to the dead. There are none. I always share the fact I'm not a doctor or scientist, but how we perceive death is you die in this dimension and then you go to the other side after this. And my thing is, as I say, one, everything's spiritual. Two, life is relative because we as humans are extraterrestrials to everyone else. And I always say, aren't we right now living on the other side of where we come from before here? Doesn't that mean we must have died? Or right, could it just be a shift in consciousness and vibrational patterns of energy? And when we can get the scientific methodology, the practicality of this spirituality, it will allow people a little bit more comfort to open up to go, well, okay, I don't understand that spiritual stuff, but okay, I've had one of those gut feeling things and it happened. I'm like, perfect. Start with that and build from there. And in that, for me, in a day-to-day practice, moment to moment, if I'm driving, never mess around on the street, but when I'm driving down the street, because I'm always very hypersensitive, if I have a vehicle in front of me, I'm always training myself. I'm going to do an energy read for that vehicle. Do I feel like they're going to go left, right, or go straight down that lane? And I get it, and I'm usually correct on it. I don't have to say things. I just train myself so that I'm always on that energy reading vibe. And when you can get more comfortable and more consistent, because like I said, I can feel all I want, but what's the outcome? It needs for me, it needs to be practical. We've got to be able to put this in so that one, everyone knows that everyone can do it. Two, it's all about choice. Because I see so many people that are waking up going, I'm getting all psychic like, and I'm like, freaking hey, that's beautiful. But a lot of times when we start to tune in, the negative energies, we perceive it vibrates like that, slow and sloppy. So it tends to get people's attention. The good stuff like this. And so some people will say this: if that's all I'm going to see is the negative, then I don't want to do this. Blump, blump, blump. And my thing is I ask, you do realize what you're saying. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, what you're acknowledging is you control your abilities. Your abilities do not control you. And they're like, oh, yeah, because people are afraid I'm going to be out of control. I'm like, if anything, it'll keep you in control. That's the point. Getting a grasp of consciousness on this plane is huge because, again, the rippling effect, I love it. And for me, I always say I'm lazy. To me, it takes no more energy for me to send love and light to a person than to the all that is. That's everywhere, nowhere, everywhere in between, and everywhere beyond my comprehension. And it's that kind of a unified energy that I just send it out. Why? Because I can, because I choose to. And I love that energy connection because what we think about and our attention to those thoughts are what kind of are seeds planted into the universal soil. And that thought thinking thing that we do is also what I call the connection to the personal magnetism. When you first meet somebody, they're like, man, I just love your energy. Or I don't want to get to know you. They don't have to say a word, yet you feel their energy. Some have a nice, good, clean energy. Others are like, how's it possible to have a dirty, greasy energy? Yeah, but they're on that. Know who you're dealing with, right, and what channel they're on so that you can communicate and talk with them, not just to them. And they're
It's
like,
beautiful.
okay.
That is just so beautiful how you put that. And I really want the viewers to understand that Jamie, being a world renowned psychic medium, do you see how practical? He's also an author. He's very practical. He wants to make sure that it makes sense.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I'm always saying is I'm very analytical. It's got to make sense to me. And then I'm being able to really break it down and to teach. And if you could just take a moment and tell about your podcast, because you have an amazing podcast.
Yes, with Maggie, Saint Maggie, God bless her. She's a saint. She put up with me. She's a saint. But we have a podcast called Psychic Evolution, and we are about the self-realization and self-empowerment because we always say that everyone is a psychic medium. Do you want to use it, and what level do you want to take it to? So we have a lot of episodes that we've done. We're in season 8 now, getting ready to go into season 9, which is fantastic. Yes, and we do a lot of tools and techniques in order to work with your abilities. And when people, as you know, Angel Marie, if they can feel like they're comfortable, like they're at home, it's a little bit easier to open up with less fear and more empowerment. And when they can realize that, okay, I'm not being judged. If anything, I'm starting to realize I'm judging myself. Like, there you go. So when they can start to get out of their own way and do the best they can to accept themselves, it becomes a little bit easier to accept others. Because if we're not, we kind of get in our own way and bip, a lot of people will just shut down and not connect.
Yes.
And the good
So
thing is,
I apologize for interrupting, but yet it's so beautiful. So check out the podcast. Go to his website for sure. And we're up to the time right now because we only have a few more minutes left. Can you explain what your free gift is? Because yes, viewers, I'm always going to bring that.
yes. And I have a couple of free gifts. It is also a guided meditation to connect with your loved ones, and another meditation, a class on developing your spiritual room. We also have a discount percentage that if I may be of service, that we have 33% off of the services. I want to be able to give you the opportunity to be of service. And again, I always say, if I'm good, you're great. All I'm doing is reading the energy. It's truly interconnected. It is all one and all about the love.
It is, isn't it? It's all about the love and how we raise, and that even in the chart, you saw that. The
And
chart is love, 528. Then we go to joy, then we go to gratitude, then we go to peace. So being in that, and thank you because you've given so much joy with so many wonderful tips, trips. So, things that can really help you to get through that. So really encourage the viewers, check that and absolutely do that to connect. I'm so honored that you were here today with us and helping to everyone to really step into the intuition a different way. The way that you put it was different. And that's why I've known you for these and I just love you. And it's more than that because you have an integrity and I'm honored to know you. And right now, what I'd like to do is give you, I'd like to raise the energy right now. And many of you know, viewers, that I have a song and that I always like to sing the song, and the guests, they love to sing the song with us. So right now, we're going to do the Shine On Shake, and we're going to raise the consciousness, but I'm going to give you an opportunity to say so long and to the viewers as we start this.
And till the next time, stay true to you and live.
Isn't that beautiful? Yes, because that's what it's all about. Stay true to you. So thank you for being here. And here we go. We're going to just do some rock and roll. So here we go. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Woo! Yes.
You got ambition, fire and soul. Look within your heart, let your spirit flow. Ask for what you want, show them what you got. Take it to the top, don't you ever stop. Shine, shine, shine on. Raise your vibration, shine, shine, shine on.
One more time.
Looking for the answers, seeking you will find. Open up your heart, leave it all behind. Smile and laugh, always give back. Glowing like a star, show them who you are. Shine, shine, shine on. Raise your vibration, shine, shine on. You're the secret, you're the answer. You know who you are. Look within you, breathe.
Really just rocked it, didn't he? I mean, he just giving you so many great golden nuggets and connecting. It's beautiful. And I just thank Jamie so much for being here and his free gift. Take him up on that free gift. Absolutely.